Hey everyone, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 7 of Better Let Me Tell You.
And you'll be
In a world
the
of
pure imagination.
unlike those in the UK.
We'll talk about that later. Isn't that a great song?
It is a very great song. To me, it's that Pure Imagination and Rainbow Connection are the two songs that just always get me right in the gut. Like,
What song is Rainbow Connection?
someday we'll find it. The Rainbow Connection. The Lovers. The
Where is that
Dreamer.
from?
The Muppet Movie. It's sung by Kermit the Frog.
Oh, I don't know.
You've never seen the Muppet Movie?
I don't know. I don't know the Rainbow Connection. Sorry.
Classic Jim Henson song. It's
I know.
beautiful.
I know. Reading Rainbow.
I mean, I'm sure that's a Rainbow Connection of sorts, but a different kind. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
of
yes.
course. You're always going with the Rainbow Connection. Anyway, everybody, welcome to episode 286 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes, and congratulations on 2 weeks in a row of getting it right.
Yes, BT. I know a thing or two. How is everybody?
I think everybody's doing well. It's Friday. We're in March.
We are in March.
That's it.
Yeah, we're in March. Yeah. Well, the Dollar Tree always has St. Patrick's Day stuff.
No, Dollar Tree now has 4th of July.
No, do they really?
No, but, you know.
No, they probably do.
because St. Patrick's is already here, so it's 4th
No,
of July.
Rita, the spirit of Halloween is opening up again in your closest circuit city, ex-circus city. You know, it's funny that last year or something that I was at the Spirit of Halloween with Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Papa, do they only open this store in Halloween? Because we go to the one that's next to Barnes and Noble,
Right.
and here, you know, by where we live. And I'm like, that's a complicated story. Because the Spirit of Halloween that we go to is the one that it used to be a Michael's.
Oh,
but
yes,
Michael's
yes.
moved across the street.
Right.
So, so yeah, I'm like, you're too young to understand how the Spirit of Halloween works.
But isn't it great that Spirit Halloween, in the most Halloween spirit, only opens in the dead corpses of old stores?
Do you think that I mean, that's not
That's not
like-
why. That's
yeah.
not why. But come on, let's just go with it.
I wonder how much they pay in rent.
Or maybe they take over leases, and that's
Maybe.
why they can just kind of swoop in for a month or two.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? I've never heard of the lease structure of
You know
the
what?
Spirit of
Let's
Halloween.
look into the business plan of Spirit Halloween.
The Spirit of Halloween, is it owned by somebody else? Isn't it owned by Party City?
We have so many questions about Spirit
Because
Halloween.
you know what? I can't imagine a business being profitable only 1 month out of the year.
Right. I mean, I know they exist online, and obviously people go to them when they need costumes. But yeah, I mean, let's face it, it's Halloween.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's late September and October.
Yeah,
I mean, a month and a half out of the year.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, them and their return policy.
It's true.
But anyway, so welcome everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to our new episode of Pero Let Me Tell You. Last week, we were saying that if we made it to this episode, we survived the SoBe Food and Wine
And we
Festival.
did.
And we did.
We did.
I
Are you still recovering?
was so tired on Sunday when we got back from the grand tasting that I wasn't tired.
Oh,
I was
you went all the way around.
I was too tired to be tired. You know when you're
Right.
too tired to just be tired?
Yeah.
That I was like, I need to wind down. Like I'm not generally no matter how tired I am, I'm generally not a get home, go to bed person.
Mm-hmm.
I need to like take a shower, watch TV. Like I need to wind down.
No, I took a shower and I fell into bed.
And yeah, it was intense. So for those of you who we talked about this briefly last week, but you know, some of you Pero Primos joined us.
A lot of Pero Primos were there.
So we were honored and privileged to be part again this year of the South Beach Food and Wine Festival, and the SoBe Food and Wine Festival is a really big deal. Like, I mean, we're not even. I generally try to be very humble and modest about these things, but it is a very big deal. And Ping Pong Pollo was asked again this year to do it, and we did 2 events. On Saturday, we did a chicken coop event, which was only chicken and champagne. Right. But it was a smaller event. It was about between 500 to 600 people. And then on Sunday, we did what's called the Grand Tasting, which is kind of their biggest event insofar as the amount of people that go to the event. And it was between 3,000 and 4,000 people. And I'm sure that there was probably like 1 million people really there, because it was just, I mean, look, the Grand Tasting, for those of you who've been to the Grand Tasting, know what we're talking about. And it's just so many people that it doesn't matter how well you prepare. I think we were very well prepared.
We were. We really had down to a science.
Right. It doesn't matter how well prepared you are, that you have a game plan, you have the help. I mean, it was 4 of us. You're just going to be... I don't even want to say miserable, because I wasn't miserable, but you're just going to be overwhelmed.
It's going to be what it is.
What is it, 6 hours that you're there?
It was from 12 to 5.
Right, so about 5-6 hours.
12 to 5 is when people are there. But
right,
we were there since 9:30 in the morning.
And we started first frying like 2 hours before, because our wings are double fried. We were prepared. Like, we were prepared. And like the first hour and a half, because I was doing front of the house, because I plate the chicken wings, because they have to be perfect in the way they have to be all in like the same angle and everything. Yeah. I was even mentioning it to our friends who helped us out. I'm like, it's really busy, but it's manageable. But then all hell broke loose. Like, all I know is that, like, when this festival started, we had first fried, I don't know, about 10,000 chicken wings, it felt. And there was like literally a mountain of chicken wings. Yeah. And about an hour and a half in, I turn around and I look at you. You were frying. And I'm like, the mountain of chicken wings are gone.
And people are still coming.
And now, cuando la cosa se estaba poniendo heavy.
It doesn't really start to get crazy until like 2.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's when it just... I will say this again. Thank you to everybody who came in and had our wings. Y'all waited.
Yes.
You waited like a good 10-15 minutes.
Yes,
sometimes.
People really waited, and
that's humbling.
It was very humbling. There were lines of people waiting to have our wings. Yeah. We heard that we did very well in the voting. Yes. We won't go into specifics because it's not official details.
We got some insider
info. We did very, very well. And, we were up against a lot of very big name chefs and very established restaurants.
Yeah.
On
both days.
On both days. On the Saturday event, I got to Michelle Bernstein, who is I absolutely love Michelle Bernstein. I've always been a fan.
You'd gotten to meet her the night.
I met her a couple of nights
on
before,
Fake Friday, and
then she came Saturday she was presenting at Saturday's event. And she came and she tried our guayaba queso wings. She's just absolutely lovely. You know how sometimes they tell you, don't meet your heroes, don't meet people that you like, celebrities, because they usually disappoint. This is not the case with her. She was just so lovely and warm and just so incredibly supportive and wonderful both days that we met her. So I can't say enough good things about her. So thank you, Michelle Bernstein. Yeah. And thank you so much to the South Beach Food and Wine Festival. I mean, it really, really is an honor and a privilege to be there, being that 2 years ago, Ping Pong Pollo was like...
We didn't
exist. And, we're like, well, we're going to do chicken wings, and neither of us has restaurant experience. So let's see what comes out of this catastrophe.
And now we've done 2 events.
And now we've done
2 major events.
Yeah.
2 major events.
Thank you to everybody who has supported us. And
yes, and I want to ask you something specifically, because I know that we've talked on this show a lot about it, but I know also, a little bit of imposter syndrome on both our parts. Yes. Do you feel a little better about that after Saturday and Sunday? Do you feel a little more like you're part of the club, so to speak?
I know I'm not part of. I don't feel part of the club because I'm not a trained chef. Mm-hmm. I didn't go to school to be a chef.
Right.
And I really look up to people that do, right? That's why I always tell you, like, simple things like that. I wouldn't wear a chef's shirt, like when they were in the kitchen, because I'm not a chef, and
I respect it.
It's a thing of respect, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree.
And I could just make good chicken wings. I mean, I cook well, but I'm your average home cook that cooks well and has a few tricks up his sleeve.
Right. You're not trained. Right.
You know, as far as imposter syndrome, I mean, that's just who I am. So I have to tell you though that there was something very validating, and I don't do these things to feel validated, but there was something very validated, especially in the second half of the like towards the second half of the day of the grand tasting, that there was a huge line, and there was a huge line for a while. It's not like we were just backed up, and I mean, we couldn't get the wings out enough, and everybody was serving food, and there was a line for our wings, and we got a lot of people.
A lot of those people were multiple times
came and were like, "This is the best thing in the whole grand tasting." And when you hear that, it's sort of like you don't believe it, because it's like, okay, there's a lot of really good food here.
Yeah.
It's not like our competition was like, you know,
one or two things.
Cheito haciendo, you know, totone, you know, not that there's anything wrong with that. But you know, there were like freaking Papi Steak was there, and all these like established restaurants, and we had a lot of people come and tell us that it was the best thing they had at the fair, at the festival. So I was very like, are you sure?
Did you see the text from our friend?
Which one?
Our pharmacist friend?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
That to me was very validating, because the fact that, so she's a pharmacist, she works a pharmacist at a hospital. That Monday morning, somebody that she worked with came in talking about the South Beach Wine and Food Festival and saying that they had this incredible chicken, and it's some place house called like a Bim Pam Boom. Obviously she knew it was us because she's a friend of ours, but to me that's validating, because it's not just people at the festival, it's people talking about us after the festival,
who didn't know that she knew us, right. So yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. I mean, look, I think that the whole imposter syndrome thing, that's just who I am. Like I always feel that I don't belong anywhere, so I definitely don't belong in that club. But you know, as far as Pim Pam Pollo goes, I feel it's a little engine that could. We're making this thing work.
It's gonna work. I promise.
We're making this thing work, and we're 2 years in. So So yes, thank you to everybody who came to SoBe. Thank you, SoBe, for having us. It was a great experience.
Yes. They've already, by the way, asked us to hold the dates for next year.
They did?
Yep.
Okay, well. Yep. We'll cross our bridge when we get there.
We have a year to figure out what we're going to do next.
Okay. Anyway,
so although we have an idea already.
Okay, so how was your week?
Well, my week was fine. It was, just a nice little week recuperating. Mm-hmm. I honestly, I felt Monday I was still tired from Sunday. I'm
tired today, and it's fake Friday.
That's true. But you know what I saw this week? I saw
the sign.
Well, I mean, it opened up my eyes, but I also
saw that life is really demanding without understanding.
Yeah, I know. I saw the sign, and life is gonna lift me up where I belong. And someone else who's where they belong, see how I'm transitioning, is Yolanda Saldivar. And I saw the documentary.
You saw the documentary, the Yolanda Saldivar.
Did you see it finally?
I have not seen it.
Okay.
I have mixed feelings about seeing it or not, but it is what it is.
So I saw it. It's on Peacock right now. It's Wasn't
it on like Sugar?
Oxygen.
Oh, okay.
So close. Also, Sugar is not a channel.
Well, it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no, but it was on Oxygen. It was an interesting little documentary. I saw both episodes, and I still don't know what its point.
It's 2 episodes?
Yeah, I still don't know what the point was.
They wanted people to watch this.
Okay, no. From a business perspective, I understand what the point was. But every documentary has to have like an angle, right?
Let me just
take a guess. Take a stab.
She said a lot, but said nothing.
Essentially,
yeah. That she holds some secrets of Selena.
Well, no, we saw the secrets.
Oh, what were the secrets?
Supposedly.
Oh, wait. Did we see the box?
They were actually. Well, they were in boxes, but like those legal boxes. So it wasn't as
the banker's box.
Yeah, the banker's boxes. Look, the first episode was basically just a recapping of like what happened, which I think. It's interesting because obviously this was something done for an English language audience. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, Like, give me the new stuff. Give me something new because, being Latino, we've seen this all before. One of the things that I did find, and so then the second episode, the whole purpose of this thing is to kind of not say that she didn't do it because she did. It's almost just to try and figure how to change the narrative for her motive, because she's held all along that it was an accident. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing has always been that like they found out that she was embezzling and blah, blah. The whole thing is that they found like all these documents that says that, oh no, she really wasn't embezzling, and she really was, and she had sent a letter of resignation, but then on the other side, nobody ever has record of having received the letter of resignation. And then she has a letter from like a doctor that Selena was supposedly having an affair with. And it's this thing of like, look, at the end of the day, this is why I'm saying I don't know what the point of this was, because this is not even a case of like, you got the wrong woman, right? It's like, no, she did the thing. She's admitted to it. So you're just trying to change the narrative of the why, and I don't understand why bother.
But from a legal standpoint, I mean, listen, I'm no fan of Yolanda's a diva by far.
It was interesting to watch her family be the ones going through her documents.
But I mean, it depends, because if they were able to prove that, in fact, it was an accident, obviously we're talking about manslaughter and all that. You know what? I forget, and I should know this. Was it second-degree murder she was charged with?
I believe so. I don't remember right now off the documentary, but
it must be second degree.
Their whole crux of
is it? I don't know. I don't
remember. But their whole crux of it is that like
Mr. Law and Order did not know this.
She bought a gun and she took the gun with her. So I think that's what they were hanging.
Wait. She took the gun with her. She had just bought that gun that day.
She had bought the gun like maybe a week ago.
Oh yeah, no, that doesn't look good.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's not like, okay, this is a person that
has a
routinely carried a gun. Right. If she bought the gun a week ago,
yeah.
Right, and she took it with her to this meeting, yeah, that motive starts to get all very.
Her whole stance is that she had put the gun to her head, and that
I didn't want to kill my friend.
And then
I'm sorry, I'm quoting the movie. I didn't want to kill my friend.
And then as Selena was so she was going to try to kill herself. And then when Selena went to leave, she's like, no, don't leave. Y se disparó la pistola. That's her story.
Right. At her chest.
Well, again, that's Yolanda's story.
I believe Selena was shot by the back.
Yes, right. Because she says it. She says Selena was leaving, and she's like, no, don't go. And disparó, and that's where we're at. She's up for parole next year. And,
she's not getting out.
I will say this. And God, please don't come for me, pero primos. You know what? I don't think she's one of these cases that it's like, look, what she did was horrible. It was awful. She's probably not getting out, like you're saying. But she's also not someone who's gone like on this rampage. You know what I mean? It's not like she's a serial killer. And I don't know if she's a threat to society, especially at her age, in terms of parole. That's the one thing that I came away from it was like, look, this woman, even if they give her parole, it's like, what is she going to go work at Walmart? Like, she can't go anywhere. She can't. Her life is done. Like, she can't resume a life.
Right, but from a legal standpoint or legal precedent, there's a lot of people who have been in similar situations where they just killed someone, or they were very, very young, or they were brainwashed. Choose your reason. Yeah. Who have spent life in prison. So from a legal precedent, that sort of falls short. There's a lot of people who are in jail that if they were out of jail, I don't think they would be a threat to society. I mean, look, I used to watch all the time. I remember they used to play like a marathon of the parole hearings for Leslie Van Houten, I think her name is, which is one of the people that murdered the LaBianca.
The LaBianca tape murders?
Right, from the Charles Manson. Yeah. And these girls were like 17, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, no.
They were brainwashed by this man who we know how manipulative Charles Manson was. And they were manipulated by this man to kill these people. And they were under like a trance. And they did. And I remember I used to watch this woman's parole hearings. Because again, Court TV back in the day when it was like
when it was Court TV.
When it was Court TV. Yeah. It used to play things law related. And what a thought, right? And they used to put like a marathon of all her parole hearings throughout the years. Like it would start off her young, and then it would end up her una vieja. And I would often think like she's remorseful for what she did, and I don't think she would be a threat to society, but should she be out? because she did murder these two people. And you're talking about the person that I've always been about defense, and I believe in defending even the who's guilty. I'm 100% defense. But you do have to do that, and as far as,
but I would say in the case of like of her and all the Manson girls, it's slightly different because I mean those murders were just so horrific and barbaric and savage, and you could also even make the argument that it's like if she was brainwashed once, what's to say she can't be brainwashed again? So I understand the no parole if we really stop and look at all angles.
But, so is the Selena one. I mean, the Selena one wasn't graphic in so far. Like, they didn't put dye pigs with her blood on the wall like they did in the Manson ones. But I mean, it was a pretty violent. I mean, she shot her, and Selena's trajectory, she like ran to the hotel lobby. It was just terrible. She shot her, and again, I should know this, and I don't know if she got if it was first degree or second degree. I mean, I guess you could punch a hole that it was premeditated, but again, I would go for in terms of premeditation. Why did you take the gun to this meeting with Selena, who wasn't you were an adversarial allegedly with her? Right.
I almost would have understood the gun if she had been meeting with Abraham.
Right. So I mean that screams premeditation to me. Again, I don't know as much as. We remember when Selena was murdered, and we went like everybody else through the whole loss of Selena. I actually don't know and haven't read upon the case against Yolanda Saldívar. I feel I should know, but
I do know that the whole thing was they were saying, oh, she was embezzling. She was actually never charged with any embezzlement charges. After the fact, like when everything went through, and the prosecutors were saying it's because they didn't need it. They were like, look, what are we going to do with charging her with embezzlement? We've got her on murder.
Right. Did you know Selena before she died?
I knew of her. I wouldn't say I knew her. You
didn't know her songs?
I knew a couple, but not to the extent that I do now.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. How did you not know Selena if you watched MTV Internacional on Sundays with Daisy Fuentes?
This is true.
I mean, Selena was always on. Amor Prohibido. Amor Prohibido.
Right. But that's the album I know.
But that album was really big.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, that's what I knew of her, but I couldn't tell you, like, Selena y los Dinos. Like,
but Selena y los Dinos, like, I think, like, OG people know that. But Selena, before she died, was... I wouldn't say she had gone like super, super mainstream in Spanish music, but she was mainstream enough that she was
poppy.
She was. I remember that she died March 31st. I remember that earlier that month, because here in Miami they used to do Los Carnavales in March.
Yeah.
She was in Carnaval Miami. In the one in Bayfront Park, she sang. I remember what she was wearing. I remember what she sang. And then around that time, she was on Sábado Gigante. And she used to come out on this show all the time on Telemundo called Padrísimo.
Oh, I totally forgot about that show.
Yeah. And around the time she died, I think the song of hers that was like really popular was No Me Queda Más.
That song. I mean, again, I knew that album, but that's why when you said like, how did I know? I knew that album, but I wouldn't say I was like.
I knew Foto y Recuerdo too. I knew of her. I knew a bunch of her songs. I remember my grandmother used to really like her. But after she died, of course, like a lot of people, you sort of become more knowledgeable to her music. I love her English album.
That's so good.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm thinking of that song "Captive Heart."
I'm thinking, and I can't think of the name right now. That she did like a freestyle song.
I know you're taking my lead. Is it the beat?
No. There's another one. It was another one that was like a demo almost.
The song of hers that I actually in English that I love is I'm getting used to you.
And I'm loving every
but wait, hold on. You didn't know Selena, like know her from the song with the Barrio Boys? Because that song was enormous.
That song I knew. That song I did know. Yes.
Because the Barrio Boys were like,
yes,
at that time in the Spanish world were as big as like Boys to Men.
Yeah.
And then they featured her. And that song is pure R&B pop.
Yeah, they are pop.
And that song was everywhere.
I knew. That song I knew. You're right.
Yeah. I love the Barrio Boys. No, actually, I don't know that song from the box. I know that song from MTV. That song was everywhere. Una vez más. I'm sorry, that's what Mario was. In the morning come without you with it.
Oh my God.
I hear your voice. I hear your laughter. ¿Cómo se llama?
I can't think of the chorus now.
Donde quiera que estés.
Primer amor.
Recuerda donde
Mi primer amor.
A tu lado. You know what's funny? I know that song in English and in Spanish, but not Spanglish.
So you don't know it off of the soundtrack? To me, it's like two different
songs, yeah. No, in the soundtrack, it's in English.
It's in English? Isn't their part in Spanish?
No, their part is in English. Her part is in Spanish.
Okay, there you go.
So... It's almost here.
You mean?
Yep. Our favorite tradition is back. The Fair. It starts March 14th through April 7th.
Yes. Okay, and this year's theme is Space Venture. And I've seen the new ride called the X-Drive. Bro, that thing is like the Kamikaze on steroids.
Oh yeah, that's pretty insane. And of course, there's the exhibits and new shows this year like the Amazing Bubble Factory and Space Adventure Thrill Show.
Okay. Rides, exhibits, shows. I mean, that's all good, but we know what our Pero Primos want to hear about.
The food. Okay. Dale, what can we look forward to?
Okay, are you ready? Korean corn dog, cinnamon roll sundae, banana cream pie nachos, elote sundae, Angela's pineapple and guava pizza, cheeseburger on a stick, buffalo chicken fries, and more.
Coño. Wow. Oye, new rides, shows, and food. Visit fairexpo.com to get entrance and ride tickets. Then enjoy them all at the fair from March 14th through April 7th, okay? You know we gotta say it. Be there, the fair. Anyway, bueno, let's move right along. So we started this episode with singing about
Mr. Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka Pure Imagination. Did you hear what happened down?
It was wonderful.
Okay, listeners.
It was wonderful.
So over in Glasgow, I can't say the word, in Scotland, they were doing what was supposed to be called an immersive Willy Wonka experience. And pursuant to these posters and this advertisement, kids were going to enter the land of Willy Wonka. There was
pure imagination.
A pure imagination. They were gonna do the chocolate river with the chocolate waterfall. I mean, it was like that scene in the movie when they walk into the chocolate factory and the song plays and everything is wonderful and magical. And this is what they were going for. It was an immersive experience. The tickets were not cheap, and I don't know if it's sold out, but it's sold well enough. So this has made the news all over the world. I
love it.
Because when parents got there, so basically this immersive Willy Wonka experience was a bear warehouse. It had like one rainbow. It had some mushrooms from you could tell they were using it like a play.
Right.
And it had like
a cellophane.
And then
lollipop.
There was a part where they had a backdrop of some kingdom, like the ones that you buy at like the dollar store to put up at a birthday party. And there was a table with like a few cups half filled with lemonade. And this was the world of pure imagination that the kids were walking into.
How dare you forget that Oompa Loompa?
Oh, yes. They hired a Oompa Loompa.
She looked like she wanted for death to come collect her.
Yes. But they only had one Oompa Loompa. Did they have other actors playing like Willy Wonka? Because I only read about the actors that played the Oompa Loompas.
All we ever saw is that poor woman.
Yeah. So needless to say, and the pictures are all over online. Like, this is one of these things, listeners, that like as well as we do to describe it, although there's not a lot to describe, it's something you have to see for yourself.
Yeah.
But it's just I compared this to the Fyre Festival.
Okay.
People bought one thing and got another, but here you're not talking about like super privileged, influencers. Here you're talking about people that took their kids and, the kids were looking forward to it. So I love how in all the articles I read about this, they were like, people went in wanting pure imagination and they left getting real hell. And kids were laughing. I'm sorry, crying and all that. I'm like, I would be crying too.
I would be crying too.
What I think is so messed up about this is that they didn't even try.
No. Oh God,
it's not like, oh shit, this opens tomorrow. Like we don't have it. Like let's put some shit together.
Let's just grab a bunch of sticks and styrofoam and make lollipops.
Yeah.
No.
They just didn't try. There was like one rainbow that they walked through, and a few mushrooms that you could tell that was used for something else. Right?
It was like, school play at 5, Willy Wonka at 6.
Yeah. Oh, they had a bounce house.
Oh, okay. Well, one bounce house.
I mean, but if they're gonna have an immersive experience at a Willy Wonka thing, they need to put people on harness and take them up the fan.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that's a liability issue.
I mean, we're gonna really make it fun.
Lord, that is one of those instances though where I think Willy Wonka is one of those. Don't even try it. Don't even try to recreate it because budget wise, it's just not gonna. You can't do it.
I feel that Willy Wonka is one of those things that like it can be easily recreated because there's so much content, but you either go big or go home.
Right.
You can't half-ass Willy Wonka.
No, like what they did.
Although this is less than one half-ass. This is like one.
This is a quarter of a cheek. like this is This is the type of thing that if you were doing like your kid's birthday in the backyard and you have a smallish backyard and you kind of cobble everything together, you can kind of create the illusion of what you're going for. Está en el patio de la casa, right? But not in a big ass warehouse. It's not going to work.
Pero que what they had wasn't even good para un patio de una casa. That's what I'm saying. Like they had one rainbow bridge thing that you walk through, a couple of mushrooms, a bounce house, and a backdrop that they got at like the dollar store equivalent in Scotland. Like,
yes,
they didn't even try.
And a sad Oompa Loompa.
But no Willy Wonka on site,
Willy
apparently.
Wonka. No.
So, and you know the thing about Oompa Loompas? Like, the point of Oompa Loompas is having several Oompa Loompai.
Okay, officially the plural.
Oompa Loompa, like,
it's not impressive.
Oompa Loompa.
It's not impressive. No, it's not impressive. You need at least 3.
No, I think at least 5.
Okay, but if you're
a band, a boy band. But enough for a boy band.
That's great, Simon.
I mean,
Fuller.
they do sing and perform.
You know what? You're right. They are the original boy band,
and they do need one person in the middle, so that's why they need an odd number.
There you go. They're a boy band. That's it. Change approved.
So yeah. So shame on you guys. Shame on you guys. Return that money.
Yeah, seriously. But it's one of those things that has been happening a lot lately. Not that thing in particular, but it's these immersive experiences. I think I've told you there's a few of them down here in Miami where it's like, oh, come to the the museum of cotton candy, the museum of blah blah, whatever. And it's like, right, all it is just you're paying to go to take pictures to promote the damn thing on Instagram.
Right, but I know it's like a circular argument, right?
Right. It's
come to promote it on Instagram, but there's not real anything.
There's nothing here. It's just stuff to promote on it. Right.
Right, but at least those things have content.
Right.
Even if it's silly, they have content. They have the confetti thing you jump into and all that stuff. But the
room that's big and small at the same time.
Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah.
So there was something that I was thinking about this week that.
God, when you say that and then follow it with a laugh, I wonder.
Right, no, because in helping my kid, with his homework and stuff like that. So obviously, I've revisited, some good old things that I hadn't done since I was in school, in elementary school specifically. And this sort of like made me think of other things. So, you know how you always say when you're in high school or just in school in general, like specifically for algebra, that like, oh, why do I have to learn algebra? I'm never going to use it in real life, right? And I always tell people, look, it's not about that you're going to use X plus Y equals this. It's the concept and the mindset of like trying to figure something out that you learn in algebra that helps you in real life situations. But I actually started thinking about certain things that you learn in school that you will never use in real life. And you know what I thought about one of those things is MLA format. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
So when you're in high school, especially, oh yes, it is.
Yeah.
Holding tanto with the MLA format. Everything has to be an MLA format.
All these thesis papers. Yeah.
Everything, the bibliography has to be typed in a certain way and all this stuff. And it has to be
footnotes.
There's like MLA format, there's like ABA format and all that. So my question is like, does this have any real world value? Because let me tell you something. When you're in college and you're writing research papers, I wasn't doing no MLA format. I was doing the format that whatever the teacher told us to.
I'm trying to think
and in real life, unless you become a research scientist or somebody who does a lot of research for your, for your living, or, in your scholastic trajectory, you don't need none of that, for real life. So holding tanto with this has to be MLA format. When the hell are you going to use MLA format in real life? And I remember writing research papers and being like, oh my God, is it 3 spaces or 4 spaces? Like between the word and the period. It's like, format. People, why do we need this MLA format? Just to have a nicely typed, or word processed document with your name and your ID and the date, and that's it.
I wonder nowadays with everything, like Microsoft Word, where you can just format everything. Is it even still a quote? I mean, I know you're telling me it's a thing, but I mean, is it still like a quote unquote thing compared to when we were kids? Because I feel like now you can Uber format everything. No,
but when we were in high school, Microsoft Word was around.
Yeah, but it was I'm saying
it was Microsoft Word.
But Microsoft Word now you can probably
but MLA format, no. MLA format, you don't put something on Microsoft Word and goes, oh, do it MLA format. MLA format is a very specific way that you have to type things, and you have to present your paper, and you have to put your works cited and your bibliography in a very specific way. The author's name has to go in a certain way.
If you're quoting, if it's more than 3 lines, it has to be pulled.
It's a very specific way. It's a very specific way. Yeah. So, which you're never going to use in real life. Never. So, like, I always was like, why is this whole MLA format such a big deal? Like, you're not going to use this in real life. I understand that, especially when you're grading a lot of papers, there has to be some type of standard in terms of the way that the students turn in their stuff. I agree. But, teachers were always so like, oh, your period is off 1, so red mark, and you will get a lower grade. And I'm like, really? Like, really? So I'm just curious, listeners out there. I know we have a few listeners that are teachers.
That's true.
Can you enlighten us about the MLA format, and why do we really need the MLA format?
What are the origins of the MLA format?
Is that 30 years later, I still have a little bit of trauma from having to figure out the MLA format.
So would you say you have MLA PTSD?
I have something. Because when I've helped my kid with like his bibliography, it's like I'm like,
what is he working on that has a bibliography?
Everything has a bibliography. Like his science experiments, where did he get the information from? You have to type a bibliography, and it's MLA format.
It's like in 4th grade.
I know. And like the last one that he did, the instruction said it, make sure it's an MLA format. And here I was like Googling MLA format, and then a bunch of other formats came out. I'm like, which one's MLA? Like, because there's different types of MLA formats too.
That too.
Like,
yeah.
It's just a cluster F. And I'm like, pero pa qué? Like,
just give me a format.
There's nothing in a resume that says, are you a master in MLA format? Like, is that something you put in your design?
Not even a LinkedIn special skill
and qualifications on your resume. Oh, I'm proficient in MLA format.
Not even on LinkedIn. Not even a little bit.
I bet you no other podcast is talking about the MLA format.
No, there are probably literature podcasts that aren't talking about the MLA format right now. Because that's what we do. We bring you the hard-hitting stuff, Pero Primos. We talk about MLA format. I can't think of the last time I even thought about it.
Well, because you've been out of school for a few years.
This is true. Ay, Dios mío. What's funny that you're talking about MLA format. I heard something on a podcast earlier today that I wanted to bring up with you, and it's not about MLA format, but all right, this is just that type of like stupid things that we would have this conversation amongst our friends off camera, off mic. Mm-hmm. All right, so we can all agree that when people say a couple, right? A couple is 2, right?
A throuple is 3.
A throuple is 3, as we all now know.
Is there a quadruple? Quadruple?
I'm sure if we keep going, but I'm saying a couple is 2, right?
A pentuple?
How many what number? Mm-hmm. What number would you say constitutes a few, and what number would you say constitutes several? Like, what are the number ranges we're looking at for each of those?
I feel that several is more than a few.
Okay, I agree, but now give me an actual like what's the range? So obviously couple is 2.
Okay,
so
I would say a few is 3 to 5 and several is 6 and on.
See, I think a few is like 10 and below.
I mean, I guess. I mean, there's not a right or wrong answer.
But then I also think that it's called several, so maybe some people will be like, well, several has to start at 7.
Is that a thing?
No, but several. Like, again, I can see people like making that, like, you know. But this totally reminded me of like the conversations we have about, like, you know, the days of the week and the personalities.
Oh, the personalities?
Yeah.
So a few...
So when I heard it, I was like, I'm going to ask Darian.
The one that I always get a little bit like, I'm not sure when to use it is a handful. Oh. How much is a handful? Is a handful more or less than a few?
Yes.
A handful is less than a few.
Yes.
And definitely less than several.
Yes. A handful is no more than 5 because you've got 5 fingers.
Okay, that makes sense. I like that logic.
Right? So like 5.
Because I use I say that sometimes. Oh, a handful of it. And I'm like, is a handful 3?
Also, or is it not all handfuls are created equal, because a handful by Shaq is not the same as a handful by Marcy.
Well, I mean, yes, but I mean, do you have a handful of Big Macs, or do you have a handful of nails?
I'd rather eat a handful of Big Macs than a handful of nails. Yeah. Yeah. But yes. So, okay, so I didn't even think about a handful.
Unos cuantos.
Unos cuanto. Okay, but is unos cuanto different than a few and a handful?
I don't know. Do you know what really messes me up in Spanish?
6 and 7?
Oh, no, 60 and 70.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like, who the hell invented those two numbers?
Kind of fucking masochist.
No. What always messes me up, and I think that Cubans are not in the majority here. In Cuban Spanish, when somebody says, oye, tráeme esto, and you go, ahorita.
Oh,
that means like later.
Later, yeah.
But in, like, I don't know if it's Mexican Spanish or everybody else Spanish, when they say, oh, tráeme eso, and you say, ahorita, it's now.
Yeah, I think our ahorita is, I think, Caribbean.
So, right, in the Caribbean, ahorita means later, but in the rest of Latin America, ahorita means now.
Yes.
There's an urgency to ahorita.
Yeah, which I disagree with all of Latin America.
On that?
Yes.
Because, you know, sometimes on television, when you see people say ahorita, you see them with all this, like...
They're running.
They're stopping when they're doing to do something. I'm like, but that's later.
Yeah, I don't think that you can put ita or ito after a word and have urgency. Oh my God. At all.
You know how you always know that one person? It's usually somebody in your family that ends everything in ito or ita.
I'm un favorcito.
Un favorcito, una cremita, una comidita, un vasito.
It's usually someone older.
I don't know. My mom's been talking like that forever. Even when she was younger. Ay, mira, esa cremita, el cepillito, los zapaticos.
Well, your mother's very diminutive.
El pantaloncito. Dariencito.
Maybe your mother secretly, like, you know, thinks Latin American.
Well, no, but my mom says that, but a lot of people say that.
Oh, yeah.
In Spanish, that everything is ito-ita.
Ito-ita.
So, you know, but then when it's big, it's, you know, grandón, que zapatón, que cabezón. Que melón. Que sofazón. Que carrón. Que carrón. Que carrazo. No, que carrazo.
No,
carrazo.
Wait, is it no.
Carrazo.
Is it carrazo?
Yeah.
I don't know. They both sound weird to me. I don't like either of them. I would just say like tremendo carro.
One of my favorite words in Spanish is escaparate.
Escaparate is such a good word.
In English, it's wardrobe. In Spanish, it's un escaparate. And then it's funny, whenever you hear like older Cuban people, and I guess this is true for most Latin Americans, every time you hear them talking about un escaparate, they just can't reference the wardrobe, right? They have to be like, ¿te acuerdas del escaparate de Esperancita? Oye, eso era de madera pura, eso era de la tatarabuela de ella, y eso es para una vida entera, el escaparate. Apparently, you know, in Cuba, escaparates really did last a lifetime. Like,
imagine if they had the one from Beauty and the Beast.
Boom. I mean, Cuba had some Narnia shit going on there with the wardrobes. Like, it's so funny. I hear my parents talking about that all the time. No, porque acuérdate del escaparate que nosotros dejamos en la casa cuando vinimos para acá. Eso era tremendo escaparate. Like,
they didn't have closets in Cuba.
No, they had escaparates.
Just like everywhere else. America's the only place that has un closet.
They have un closet now.
No, pero in the UK, I mean, when you watch House Hunters International, all Americans are like, oh, but there's no closet space. Yeah. And it's like, but we have this lovely wardrobe here. And it's like, bitch, just hang it in there. Don't worry about it.
So you mean that if Narnia was American, it'd be the
Lion, the Witch, and the Walk-in Closet?
The Walk-in Closet. Oh, yeah, that's a hell of a walk-in closet. Sign me up for that.
It'd be like Cher from Clueless.
The Witch, the Lion, and the Walk-in Closet. Americans and their walk-in closets, and everybody else in their camaradas and their wardrobes.
We'll even use walk-in closets to measure
I'm telling you, like, next time you see my parents, just like fish them for
tomorrow.
Be like, oye, en Cuba, ¿dónde ustedes ponían la ropa? En los cuartos, ¿dónde ustedes ponían la ropa? No en el escaparate.
I'm gonna ask them that while I'm measuring out the flour.
Such a great word.
No, for me, escaparate is great, but I love hipoteca. I think I've said this before.
I love
hipoteca, and I love crujiente.
Crujiente is so much better than crunchy.
Crunchy is,
I mean, I like crunchy. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I like crunchy, but yeah, you're right. Crujiente.
Yeah, I also think just because in English, like, you can also, crunchy also has a negative connotation. It's like, oh, you look kind of crunchy today. But nobody in Spanish is like, estás crujiente hoy. Like,
whoever uses crunchy in a negative way.
You can be crunchy. Like, if you look crunchy, it means like you look like a little like hippy dippy, like kind of grungy. Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I mean, I've heard of a crunchy roll.
I don't think anybody looks like a crunchy roll.
I mean, the other day, actually, Tristan was telling me that he wanted to download some app called Crunchy.
Oh, Crunchyroll. And
I was like, I really want sushi right now.
Yeah, it's an anime app.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, Crujiente, Escaparate, and
Hipoteca.
Hipoteca's a good one.
It is.
It's a really good one.
It's like, it's mortgage.
It's Hipoteca.
Hipoteca.
Yeah. Anyway. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We're well into the new year, and you're probably trying to figure out how to keep those New Year's resolutions. You know who could help with that? Our friends at BetterHelp. So often we focus on external factors when trying to make changes in our lives, when the key is actually improving our mental well-being. BetterHelp offers various customized therapy options like phone, video, text, or even live sessions, all with a certified therapist. Your mental health deserves to happen on your time, right? And BetterHelp can match you with a therapist in 48 hours, in most cases. And as a special offer for Pero Let Me Tell You listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/pero. It's already more affordable than in-person therapy. Now you can also save on your first month. Self-improvement isn't just a New Year's resolution, it's a lifelong journey, and BetterHelp can help you take the first step on that path. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/pero. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast episode. So I wanted to actually mention something that was on the news this week. Mm-hmm. A lot of these times when these things happen, that people, stick their foot in their mouth, or as we say in Spanish, meten la pata. A lot of times I always try to see it from the outside in and be like, okay, did this person,
was it live TV?
Was it live TV and they really sort of meant one thing but said another, but their intentions weren't bad? Like, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. But there was something that was said this week or some days ago that it's kind of like, what the hell were you thinking? So this past week, the CEO of Kellogg's cereal has been dragged on social media and in the media. So I think they were having some type of sort of state of the union on the Kellogg's Corporation, and they were talking about the economy and things like that. And he pretty much said that, inflation is very serious right now. Times are tough. And, Kellogg's has a history of, providing great cereals for people. And, that maybe if times are really tough for you, you should feed your family cereal for dinner. Like this was the CEO of Kellogg's, who makes millions of dollars a year,
right.
Pretty much telling people like, oh, times are tough. Eat cereal for dinner, right? And he was, I think that is the sort of definition of tone deaf, because that's not what you say right now. Because right now, it's not a situation like during a depression or a recession that people are out of work or people, there's massive layoffs and people just cannot find work. That's quite the contrary right now with the economy. We have unemployment numbers that we have never had. Like our unemployment is extremely low right now.
I don't believe that, by the way.
Okay, well, you may not believe it, but I mean, unemployment is not a problem right now.
No,
it's not a problem.
Okay, I'm gonna. You know what? I disagree, but
I mean, it's not. The data speaks for itself. I mean,
no, the data says that those are the people who are officially showing up as unemployed.
But that doesn't mean that. But the issue right now is not unemployment. The issue right now is inflation.
Agree to disagree.
And okay, but are you going to say really that the reason that people can't afford things right now is because of unemployment? I'm
just saying I disagree with you on the unemployment front. That's all I'm saying.
Right? Like things right now are super expensive, and I mean, I know from somebody who has a kid and has to go grocery shopping for like one kid. It's a lot of money. It's extremely expensive. So it's not an issue right now like other times that there's economic matters that people aren't working. There's massive layoffs. The economy's in the shit. No. Like right now, unemployment is not at issue. People are working, but a lot of people are not making living wages compared to
what things cost.
Compared to the inflation that we've been dealing with in the last couple of years in this post-COVID world, and the rise, especially of food costs. Like food is out of hand. It's absolutely out of hand. So people are working. People are trying to put food literally on the table. So for the CEO of Kellogg's to come out and say, oh, well, we're a company who's been here, for like 100 years and, just eat cereal. I mean, that's sort of like when Francis Suarez, the mayor of Miami, when they were talking to him about, how rent and home costs living
ridiculous,
it has gone up in Miami. He said, well, you can either get another job or get a cheaper house. I mean,
ask for a raise or something. He said,
that's just it's not only is it a non-answer, but it's tone deaf.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's been dragged this week with that comment, and I don't even know if he's apologized. I'm sure he had. And, he probably didn't mean anything badly with that. But, when you're when you are the head of a corporation this large and you're making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, and that right now there is an issue in the United States with the middle class specifically that are working, and everything is super expensive and they can barely afford the necessities or living expenses that they had, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. That is not necessarily the best look. Like,
I mean, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Kellogg CEO because I don't know the guy, but I will say I think again, this might have been an instance like you said where the message came out wrong. I think the way to present that would have been from the angle of like, cereal's not just for breakfast anymore. It's a very nutritious meal. It can provide you with all the nutrients at any point in the day. And, I'm proud that we have a product that, can sustain your family at any time of the day. And we're proud to continue in that tradition. Like, again, I think it's the phrasing of it, right? Where if you say something to that effect, it's not the same as saying like, well, you could just have it for dinner. It just, again, because now you're talking about how you're extolling the virtues of the brand, but you're also saying how it can become part of your life throughout the day. And it's, don't just think of it one way. I can see how that message could have gone one way and went completely the other.
I think it was super tone deaf. I think, again, I don't think he meant any ill will by it, but I think that if he would have said this some other, a few years back, maybe it wouldn't have been as impactful. But again, in this day and age that you hear constantly on the news, eggs are up, meat is up, chicken poultry is up, everything is up, and you can't barely foot. That's sort of like if the company that makes ramen noodles, comes out and says, well, you could eat ramen noodles day in and day out. Well, yeah, you can because a pack of 6 ramen noodle packs is still like $2.
Right.
Yeah, you can. You just will probably die, after a few days, because, and I love me some ramen noodles, but, that doesn't have a lot of nutritional content. And cereal historically has been something that, they serve at orphanages. So it's not necessarily the best look to be like, well, you could eat cereal.
Right. But I mean, again, cereal's a little more nutritious than ramen noodles.
It really?
Yeah.
It is?
I'm not talking about like Fruit Loops, but I'm talking about like your cornflakes and your things like that. It does have nutritional value.
Okay. Cornflakes may have more nutritional values than ramen noodles, but cornflakes, even the ones that don't have sugar, do not have a lot of nutrition. It's very, very, very the small amount of cereals that don't have like a ton of sugar. I mean, unless you're eating Total One or Brand.
Well, that's whatever. What I'm saying. Again, I don't know what cereals he was referencing, but what I'm saying, right. I mean, obviously, if you're talking about like, again, Fruit Loops and things like that.
You're going to feed your family, Fiber One.
Well, if you have no other option.
Right, you're going to feed your kids Fiber One. That's why I'm telling you that's a tone deaf comment. Because you're going to treat hey, honey, for dinner tonight, we're having Fiber One. That tastes like freaking, dead grass. We're having Fiber One. We're keeping it healthy.
Sometimes you got to tighten the belt.
Right, but that's why that's tone deaf. Because if you are a family and you have kids, it's impractical and almost impossible that they're going to eat a nutritious cereal, which there's very few of them. So then the ones that they do have that kids would probably want to eat are the ones that are full with sugar.
Right. No, I know what the kids want, but the kids don't make a living. So the kids eat what's at the house.
Again, that is why this is such a horrible comment, because you're telling people to eat something. Oh, well, you could eat cereal. Yeah, you could eat cereal. What cereal? Like, yeah, we could eat cereal.
Yeah, I am telling you, the way he delivered it was not great, but I can see where there was an intent one way and went the other.
He should have just not said anything at all.
Well, but he's got to say something at the shareholder meeting.
There's a lot he could say. He didn't have to say that. But anyway, let's move right along. You know what I think is really stupid? I was thinking about this week, too.
What?
You know that movie, Love Story?
Ooh, the one with Ali McGraw? And
yeah. I mean,
I've never seen it.
I've never really seen it, but I know the very famous scene in it. Maybe listeners, some of you have seen it. Your parents have probably seen it, because Love Story came out in like the early 70s, so it's about 50 years old. But that's one of like the most iconic romantic movies of all time. And like the famous line in that movie is, "Oh, love means never having to say I'm sorry."
Oh, yes.
What type of crock of shit is that? Yes. What type of crock of shit is that?
That's white nonsense.
Love means never having to say I'm sorry. Well, I beg your pardon.
Love is perpetually saying you're sorry and asking, what do you want to eat?
No, and love of all format, of all kinds, whether it's with your kid, with your husband parents, or wife, with your boyfriend or girlfriend, your parents, your friends. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much always saying I'm sorry.
It's a big part.
It's a huge part.
Yeah.
What type of stupidness is that?
Whatever, it was the 70s. People were still high.
Do you think so? Well, maybe they were eating cereal.
They were probably eating cereal. They were probably eating some nutritious high cereal.
Was there?
I don't know. Back then, I wasn't around.
Well, neither was I. But
they were just coming off of Woodstock.
And in Woodstock, they drank Coke.
They drank. Yes, they all.
I know that Coca-Cola commercial.
Yes, that they all handed Cokes. Okay, do you know what I found out today? Do you remember that commercial about the Indian on the side of the Native American on the side of the road?
Yes.
Do you know that he was not Native American?
The one that he was crying because they were polluting
the earth?
No, but I'm not surprised.
Not only was he not Native American, he was Italian. But he married a Native American woman and lived in the tribe. And it wasn't until after his death that the entire tribe found out that he wasn't Native American.
Oh, so wait. He was pretending to be Native American.
Yes,
this wasn't like a casting that they did and they just hired
a
guy to play a Native American.
He had like a Native American name that he went by and that he used and everything. And he would say like his mother was from I don't know where, and his dad was like Cherokee, and he built the whole narrative, and they didn't find out until after he died.
Oh, so the people who casted him
thought they were being authentic. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go.
I'm like, wow. Just put a bucket
of
cold water on me.
Reading about, I forget her name, but she's a very famous singer from the 60s who her whole shtick was being Native American, and they found out that she wasn't.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name either. Yes.
I think she was big in Woodstock or something. She was around in the 60s, and she's still like an active recording artist, and she's always been about like, being Native American, the whole experience and all that, and she was a Native American.
She was not. Or is not. She's still with us, I think.
Oh, did you hear? Now that we're talking about people pretending to be things that they're not. This girl, Rachel.
And her OnlyFans?
Yeah, and her OnlyFans. So for those of you who don't remember, a few years ago, actually like 10 years ago, there was this lady called Rachel Dolezal.
Dolezal.
That she was like the head of the NAACP, like of a certain chapter of the NAACP. And she said that she was black, and she would put like foundation and makeup to make her hair look make her complexion look darker.
She would treat her hair.
She would perm her hair or wear it in braids, and honestly she did look like somebody who was at least mixed.
Yeah, for sure.
And it came out that she was like this blonde girl from a white family, and it was all a lie. And when I first heard about her, because when that news story came out, she was like the head of the NAACP, and she had like done a lot of work for the community, a ton of work. I think
she went to an HBCU,
and I was even like, it's not cool that she did this, but I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, look, at least something good has come out of this. That she's done a lot of really good work. But then I started to read that she, when she was applying for, I don't know if it was scholarships or fellowships, she was saying that she was black.
Yeah.
And she got those, that like
based
grant
on
money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember if it was a grant money or a scholarship, but she got those awards. And that is what I have a problem with. Because now you're talking about a community that is marginalized and does have issues getting scholarships and things like that. So you're getting the few,
you're taking someone's spot.
Yes, spots that they already have. You're taking it when you don't need to take it.
When you're not that.
Right. And you don't need to take it. Right. So that's when I really, like with her, I was like, yeah, no, that's messed up. Yeah, but she was in the news again these past few days or this past week because she's a teacher and she has an OnlyFans.
Yeah, and she was going by another name.
Yeah, she got fired.
Yes, she did. She got fired. And now she has changed the name on the OnlyFans back to Rachel Dolezal because she figures it's better marketing.
Well, yeah, the cat's out of the bag.
It's better marketing.
The pussy's out of the bag.
It's so, like, well, and it's on OnlyFans.
The internet doesn't forget people. Our podcast will be up forever.
That's true. The internet has a very long memory.
Yes, and that's why we're in episode 286.
There you
go.
And
they can all be found on various platforms like Spotify, Google, SoundCloud,
YouTube, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and iHeartMedia.
And you could also find us on Napster, LimeWire,
and your local jukebox.
What was it? BearShare?
Yes, I totally forgot about BearShare.
CD1, and you could also download Real Media Player to listen to.
And if you can't find Real Media Player, just ask Jeeves.
You know that I loved me some Netscape Navigator. Oh man!
The minute you said Netscape Navigator, my mind saw the big N.
Oh no! I had the Netscape Navigator when the little thing was the lighthouse.
Wow!
Instead of the N twirling, it was the lighthouse spinning. Oh yeah.
You were OG.
Long live Internet Explorer.
Oh, now I'm thinking of the little clip.
Clippy. I mean, listen. I think Clippy should make a comeback. I'm not sure for what.
They tried.
Well, you know what? Why do people hate Clippy?
Because Clippy would just show up when you didn't need him.
But Clippy was so cute.
I mean, you could make him go away. Like,
do you remember Clippy?
Like, you could make him just go away. I mean, it's a setting.
Mira, now Clippy would be like an avatar, and it'll be like, look at my cool avatar,
AI,
my AI avatar. You know, like Clippy. You know, bro. Like he knows everything. He knows all my attachments.
He would just be called Clip. Because he's cool now. He's hipster.
Man, I remember downloading like the Real Media player, and like getting the updates and being like, wow.
This is technology.
Yeah, well, it was.
I know it was, but thinking like, man, we're in the future.
It was such a good feeling when I had Napster, and yes, we are of that age.
Oh yeah.
When I had Napster, and like I would start downloading, I don't know, 40 songs or whatever, and then I would go to bed, and when I wake up, all my 40 songs were there, and then I would burn them on my CD and listen to them in my car. Life was good back then.
You know, that was a good day.
That was a good day.
That was a good day.
Yeah. I mean, mixed CDs
are such a lost art.
Mixtapes is something that kids will never understand now.
A playlist is close, but it's not the same.
That's like, it blew my mind when you told me, and I had never thought about that, but it's true, that there's no point anymore to doing greatest hits albums.
No.
Because why? You could just do a playlist.
Yeah. Like, how do these singers get out of their contracts now?
Christmas albums?
Okay, there you go.
Remix albums, maybe.
Yeah, remix albums probably. Yeah.
But there's no need for a greatest hits album anymore.
Yeah. Like, why?
Yeah, because greatest hits was something you so looked forward to, because obviously, like, it would include some songs that maybe you didn't have from like earlier albums. And then, did you notice that greatest hits would always have like 2 or 3 new songs?
Of course, that's how you justified buying it if you're a fan.
And then those songs were like proper singles with videos and all that. And now, not so much.
Now they just release a single. They don't have to release an album.
Yeah. So, and we'll listen to it on our real player.
Yes.
On our anti-skip Sony Walkman CD player.
Oh, I remember my anti-skip Sony Walkman.
Oh man, I remember
Discman.
I remember like when, especially like during high school and college, that we used to go to Europe a lot, and you know, so we had a lot of long trips. I remember that, just that feeling of getting into the plane, and you know, since it was a long flight, getting situated, taking out your stuff, and I would take out my you know, CD player and my, you know, CD magazine,
the case, yeah,
and it was just like, I'm good for the next 8 hours. Let's go.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
That was back when airplanes gave food.
Hey everyone, it's DJ. Y oye, you know we've been digging on Gawi Lemon Lime Soda for a bit now. The tart, sweet, bubbly taste of Gawi Lemon Lime is perfect for thirst quenching, and it's been a hit at all of our Ping Pong Pollo pop-ups. People love it. Not to mention, it's been a crisp, refreshing soda since 1948 without an aftertaste like some other sodas. Just saying. Así que get your Gawi Lemon Lime at your store or even online. And if your store doesn't carry it, pues pídelo and start enjoying the authentically Cuban taste of Gawi Lemon Lime today. Gawi Lemon Lime, que rico es. Anyway, bueno, are we, speaking of food, are we thirsty?
We are thirsty. I mean, I already drank my kawi, so I think it's time to actually give some kawis out. Kawis. Yes, our last soda, our last kawis. Limón con lima, lima, limón. Lo trae kawi, que vacilón. En la respuesta pa' este calor. Tómate un kawi, lima, limón. Kawi! Okay, so my last kawi today is really, it was actually something I just wanted to talk about in the show. So I guess I could say I'm going to give my last kawi to Wendy Williams. But this is nonetheless a topic that I wanted to talk about in the show. Have you seen the Wendy Williams thing? Not yet, no.
I saw the first episode.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, I'm going to finish watching it, but I felt really weird watching it. Mm-hmm. Because on the one hand, you feel they're trying to exploit her. But then on the other hand, I think her family does really care about her. Mm-hmm. And then on the other hand, you see that there's people around her, at least when they were filming the series, that were taking advantage of her, like employees and stuff.
Right.
And it's just really, really sad, because I feel that with her, like the downfall was really fast.
Yeah,
it was like literally from one day
really quick. Yeah,
like from one day to one day she was doing her show, she was on top of the world, and boom, the next day she wasn't on her show anymore.
She couldn't finish her last season.
Right. And it was so quick. And when you see her, there's something wrong there. I know that she was recently diagnosed with dementia and dysphagia, is it? Which is what aphasia. Bruce Willis has. And I mean, maybe when they filmed this, because the thing is that this series,
they say they didn't know when they were filming it,
right? And it was filmed in like a couple of years. Like I think there's certain parts that were like last year, and then parts that were like the year before. I'm not sure in terms of the timeline, but it wasn't something that was shot like 3 or 4 months ago. And I feel bad for her because like, and I was not actually a Wendy Williams fan because I thought on her show she was deliberate and she was mean. She was funny, and there were times that I laughed,
right.
But I think that other times she was actually really mean. But one of the things that I felt really bad about her is I remember seeing a random interview about her a few years ago that it was sort of like an intimate interview, and she was saying they were talking about her hair and her wigs, and she said that they will never see her without her wig. That not even people that worked with her would never see her without her wig. Like she could count a few people that or a handful of people that had seen her without her wig. So this was something that was very important to her, right? And she comes out without her wig on the show. And it's like seeing another person. And that scene alone, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, because this is something that she was so vocal about in terms of the essence of who she is. And this is something that now it's being thrown out there for the world to see. So, I think she's one of these people that no matter what your opinion about her is and how you feel about the way she conducted herself when she had her show or not, it's just really sad to see anybody in that situation. It's just really, really sad. And I have a large amount of compassion and empathy for her and her family. She's under a conservatorship.
Yes.
And her family actually doesn't know where she's at.
No, yeah, it's a very odd conservatorship.
Yes. I mean, who knows? Because I feel that with her case, because I feel like with Britney Spears' case, like it was a little bit simpler insofar as like, okay, she was under a conservatorship. Her dad was a conservator.
It was the family.
Okay, they were accusing, her whole shtick was that they were taking advantage of her and her money. But here it's like, you don't know, like, how does she end up in the conservatorship? Like, who, I mean,
there's a lot of questions.
Yeah. So my last Cowie is her.
Yes. Well, again, I do want to see the docu-series, as they call them now. She's just a figure that I have always found interesting for all her faults. Speaking of figures who have faults, my last Cowie is actually going to go to the latest season of Feud, which is Capote versus the Swans. For those of you who don't know, it's a story about Truman Capote, who is an author, and he became kind of just like a media personality, and his relationship with these high society New York women who he called the Swans, because his whole shtick was that, they looked very graceful above water, but underneath the surface, they were all kicking like hell to keep up the facade.
Is that what Swans do?
Well, yeah, think about it. Swans, it's paddle, 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 but they look so graceful on the water. Okay. It's a hell of a show, specifically because of just the ensemble of women that are in it. I mean, Diane Lane is Diane Lane, Naomi Watts, Callista Flockhart, Chloe Sevigny, Demi Moore, like Molly Ringwald. Like, they're all just very, very well cast and doing a great job. But I didn't realize, like, I had always heard about Truman Capote, but I didn't know about Truman Capote.
Yeah.
And now I'm just wondering why people liked him. He just seems so, like, viciously mean for no reason. So there's two things
I knew about Truman Capote. I knew the movie.
Okay, Capote, right, with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And I knew, because I had heard about it, like they had mentioned it several times on CBS Sunday Morning throughout the years. The black and white party that he gave.
Yes.
Was it called the black and white party?
The black and white ball. Yes.
It was in the Plaza Hotel in New York.
Yep.
It was in the late 60s or early 70s.
That
60s, it was supposed to be the greatest party of all time. That they still talk about it in New York City after all these years.
Yeah.
For some reason, that was like something really random I knew about him.
Yeah, but that's just, he was a guy who kind of just ingratiated himself into high society and then started writing about high society and very quickly learned that you don't do that without consequences. But even still, even
He would have been great on The Housewives.
He was basically proto Housewives, this whole scenario. But again, I just find it interesting when you've got this personality that you've only heard about, and then you see it, and you can't help but look at it through the lens of today, which is not always the healthiest thing to do. But you start to look at it, and you're like, but why were people drawn to this guy? Like, he was not nice. He wasn't kind.
So in other ways, he was Andy Cohen.
He was Andy Cohen. I mean, he was essentially Andy Cohen with a weirder voice.
I mean, I've told you I don't care for Andy Cohen one way or another. I just like to
just rile me up, just get me going. Yeah. But it's a very enjoyable series. So catch it. It's on FX and on Hulu.
I feel he's one of these people that like the folklore about him.
Yes,
has lived,
the myth. Yeah,
been bigger than
he only wrote 2 books.
He only wrote 2 books, and
the third one he never finished, which was going to be about these women.
Right. So I was like, really? Because again, I don't know. I didn't know too much about him. I don't know too much about him. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he was like a really famous or important, I don't know, producer,
reporter, or something,
or like studio exec.
Yeah.
Right. No, he just wrote 2 books.
He just wrote a couple books, and then he showed up on talk shows for the later years of his life. He was a hopeless alcoholic. So
yeah. No. Well.
Yep.
Wow.
It would have been better if he had a cowie.
Yes. He would have. If he would have had a cowie, he wouldn't have had the problems he had.
Exactly.
And cowie was around back then.
It was around back then. It was in Cuba, but it was around.
I mean, I'm sure he went to Cuba.
I'm sure.
He went to Varadero.
Habana.
So, well, that's a good one. Well, everybody, that's it for our show this weekend. We hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cowie. And have a great weekend, everyone.
Yes, and don't forget, guys, we've got 3 pop-ups this weekend. So just head over to Pimpampollo MIA and check out where we're going to be. We're even in Broward, so you have no excuses.
Broward this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm already tired, and next week we'll be talking about our tiresome weekend.
Exactly.
So anyway, have a great one, everybody.
All right, bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. All right, everybody. Now, it's been a minute since we've had this guest here with us. We've got with us again the one, the only, Tristan. How are you, buddy?
Good.
You're good? How you been? How's life treating you in 2024?
Fine, cool, very epic.
Epic. Okay, I like epic. All right, epic works for me. All right. So, So I wanted to talk to you about something that you have been watching recently. What? One Piece.
Oh, yes, I've been watching that recently. I started watching it about
Why did you start watching it?
I don't know. I just it seemed interesting.
Yeah.
I started watching about 3 episodes. I mean, not 3 episodes. 3 weeks ago. I think I'm about at episode 196.
And there's like 6,000 episodes, right?
1,107.
Okay, I was close-ish. Sort of, maybe, not really.
Oh.
But so One Piece, I mean, I have not seen it, but I've seen some episodes when I'm here at the house and you're watching it. But okay, so give us very quickly, like, what's it about? It's about pirates, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a man in a straw hat called Luffy, and he's gonna be
Luffy. Oh, Luffy. Okay, Luffy.
Luffy.
Okay.
And basically, he just wants to achieve his dream of being king of the pirates. Woo!
That's his goal, is just to become a pirate, like a real pirate.
Yeah, the king of the pirates.
Oh, king of the pirates.
Surpassing Gold D. Roger.
I didn't know pirates had kings and queens and princes and all that.
You learn something new every day.
This is very true. Very, very true. So you're about, what did you say? You're like 300 episodes in, give or take?
189.
Oh, okay.
Actually, not 189. Sorry, 195.
195 episodes. So who's your favorite character so far?
I have to say, either Chopper or Zoro.
All right, now for our listeners who don't know the show, give us a little bit about who Chopper is and who Zoro is.
Chopper's a reindeer who lived in Drum Island.
Wait, is that the reindeer that got kicked out of the house of the mad scientist or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I like him because I saw that episode.
Chopper.
And then who's Zoro?
A swordsman with green hair.
Oh, okay. Because do you know who Zoro is originally? Do you know the original character of Zoro?
No.
So Zoro is actually a character from literature, from I believe it's a Mexican book.
Roro Noah Zoro.
Well, but I'm saying in the olden days, Zoro, and there's actually old movies. It's a very different Zoro, but he's also a swordsman. So I think that's probably where they got the inspiration for the name.
Tony Chopper and Roro Noah Zoro.
Wait, Chopper's name is Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's Tony Chopper? Interesting. See, I only know Tony, which is a R&B group from the 90s. All right, so what's been your favorite episode so far? Like, because almost 200 episodes. There's a lot to choose from.
I don't know so far. I just don't know.
Really? So of the ones you've seen so far, which one is the one that you think has like stuck in your head the most?
I don't know. I just finished Sky Island, so.
Okay, and what is Sky Island? Is that like just one episode? Is that several episodes? Like a story?
It's about 42 episodes.
Oh, so that's like a season. Like a story arc.
I guess. Yeah, it's One Piece has different arcs.
Oh, okay.
Starting in Romance Dawn.
Okay.
Then progressing to like other parts.
Mm-hmm. So was it called Sky Island?
Yeah.
That's your favorite story arc, right? I think that's fair to say.
No, I said I just finished.
But I asked you what's your favorite one.
I don't know. I there's so many to choose from.
Oh, okay, and they're all like good in their own way.
Yeah, like Arlong Park, that was a good one.
Okay, what's that one about?
It's basically a group of fishmen who fight Luffy and or the Straw Hat crew.
This is a freaking brilliant show. Like every time I ask you what that's about, the description you give me is so like just crazy cuckoo bananas that I love it.
Fishmen are basically these people who are like stronger than humans, but they're like humans and fish mixed together, so they can breathe on like land and breathe in the water. So like an Aquaman situation? Yeah. Oh, okay. See, I just pictured somebody with legs, but like a fish head. No? I guess. Is that not what it is? I guess. I don't know. What do you mean you guess? You've seen the show. I haven't. They have like blue cyanish skin. Oh, okay. So they've got like scales, like fish, probably. Okay, interesting. Now, have you seen the live action version? Oh yes, yeah. I have. Yeah. That was obviously that's a lot fewer episodes so far. Yeah, it's 8 episodes. I already finished it. Oh, okay. And what story arc is it collecting in those 8 episodes? I know it has changed some stuff. Obviously, it goes from Romance Dawn all the way to Arlong Park. Okay, so they've taken about 50 episodes and turned it into 8. Yeah. Yeah. No, 35. Okay. Oh, no, not 35. About 40. About 40, I don't know. So 40 shrunk it into 8. About 35 is another character in the Straw Hat crew named Nami. That's just her, like, backstory. Okay. 35 is, like, a backstory. Same as 36. So is this one of those instances where it started off as a manga and then they made the anime, or was it always just an anime? I think it was a manga, then they made the anime. You think so? Yeah. Have you read the manga at all, or no? No. I mean, I'll look that up for you. I will see if I can find some for you. I've seen parts of it, but yeah. But you're not into manga. You're into anime. You're down with anime, but you're not. I've only watched like 2 anime in my life. But you're One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, but you're 10, and all those anime have like 1,000 episodes. So that 2 anime that you've seen are a lot of anime. Jujutsu Kaisen is about 40. So no. That's it? Well, really? It's a completely different anime. No, I know, but I most anime, like I'm thinking in terms of like Naruto. The original Naruto has like I don't even know how many hundreds of freaking episodes. I've never watched Naruto. Oh, it's really good. It's really good. You should watch it when you're done with One Piece. I recommend Naruto. That's gonna take about a month, maybe 2. Because, okay. No, just watching the whole show in one sitting takes 2 weeks. The One Piece? Yeah. Oh, okay. So then, yeah, you've got about a month and change left, give or take. Like about a month and change, or 2 months maybe if you want to take your time with it. By the way, that noise was not a fart. It was a noise I made with my mouth. I know it wasn't a fart. Worry. Please don't worry. I don't think our listeners think that I would give you the microphone and put it to your butt. Weirdo. No. But yes, I recommend Naruto as your next one. I think you would enjoy it. It's a similar situation as One Piece, where it's like, young group of friends and they're off on an adventure and all that. So that should be similar. They're heading to the Grand Line to find Goldie Roger's famous treasure. That's One Piece. That's like the ultimate goal of the what is it? The Straw Hat crew. Yeah, Straw Hat Pirates. I don't know.
Okay, so wait. Now I gotta ask you a question because I've noticed that they have like special powers, right? Like, what's his name? Luffy?
Not all of them. Some of them have a little something called devil fruits, which are rare fruits to give you like rare abilities. For example, Luffy has the gum fruit, which like can make him like turn into rubber. He's rubber.
Ooh, I wish I had that.
Not all of them have devil fruits.
Okay.
Like Zoro and Chopper. Well, actually, Chopper has one, but never mind.
So the devil fruits.
Well, actually,
gives everybody a different power.
Yeah, actually, the only reason Chopper can talk since he's a reindeer is because he ate a devil fruit.
Well, there you go. So that's a power. I don't know about you, but I've never seen a reindeer that talks.
He has a blue nose.
I think that's the least of it. He's a talking reindeer.
Also, he can transform to different forms. But if a normal
Chopper can transform to different things.
Yeah, but if a normal human ate that, because if you didn't know, eating a devil fruit just it gives you special powers, but also takes away your ability to swim. Oh. So if a normal person ate that, you're just basically taking away your ability to swim. That's it.
And you don't always get a power, or you do.
I guess the human can transform or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't. You know more than I do. You're the one who watches the show. I would imagine you would know more than I would know.
Orange Town.
I don't know what that means.
Orange Town. It's like one of the first arcs of One Piece. Is the second one.
Okay, it's called Orange Town. Okay.
Where Luffy and Nami fight Buggy the Clown. Well, actually, I forgot.
Oh, that
Zoro, Nami, and Luffy.
That
fight
clown
Buggy.
is creepy as hell.
How do you know?
Because I was here when you were watching it. That clown is creepy as hell.
I guess.
I don't like it.
He also has a devil fruit, the chop fruit. He can like take out body parts.
Like that's weird. I don't like it.
He can take out his head.
I don't like it.
No, it just shows his skin underneath.
I know. I just don't like it.
Like imagine showing that. Imagine showing the. Should I even say this?
Say it.
Imagine just like showing the guts in the like the guts and blood and organs and bones and like the live action. No.
Again, I don't like it. I don't like it. That's why it's weird. Nope, don't like it.
Is this whole thing just me being here, just talking about One Piece?
Yeah, we're just chatting. We're catching up with you.
Okay.
Yeah. I was actually going to say, thank you for swinging by. I mean, I don't know a lot about One Piece, but now I think myself and our listeners know a little bit more, and it's thanks to you. You always bring some information to the table, and I want to thank you for swinging by and talking a little bit of One Piece.
Kobe Bryant.
Don't know what that. I don't think that's a story arc, but you know what? That's for another day. All right.
Well, there's a character in there called Kobe, but.
Oh, okay, but not Kobe Bryant.
No.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Oh, he's pink hair. I don't think Kobe Bryant has pink hair.
No, he didn't have pink hair. He was really good at basketball, but didn't have pink hair.
True.
Yeah, that was Dennis Rodman who had pink hair. It's another basketball player. You don't know who Dennis Rodman is. All right. Well, thanks for swinging by, Tristan. We love having you stop by and just talk about whatever's happening in your life at the moment. All right. Take care.